Hey everyone, this is the LEGO Spider-Man Stark Jet and the Drone Attack set. It's made to go with the upcoming Spider-Man Far From Home movie, and the Stark Jet itself here appears to be based on the same design that was originally made for Iron Man 2, not the modified 737 from the original Iron Man movie. The Spider-Man figure in this set is well produced. This is the type of quality that I like to see from LEGO. Those prints are nice and opaque. You can actually see the thickness of the black printing on the torso. Just has a certain depth to it, which is great to see. There's plenty of it. There's printing on the arms. There's printing on the front of the legs, not the side of the legs, but at least the front, and the legs are dual molded. The print for the head is very good. The whites of the eyes are white. You know, they're not pink. This is a very, very good figure, and I am happy with it. I have really no complaints about it. It has a good level of detail, and like I said, it just feels right. It has the proper quality. So sorry about the tiny bits of dust that you can see at this resolution. Here's Nick Fury with his shooter. LEGO officially on their website calls it a shooter, not a gun, because they don't say gun. It's a shooter that he comes with. But the figure is pretty good. Pretty good printing for the face, you know, with some expression lines there, a little bit of the scarring. And the print for the torso, hip, and leg pieces, I think, is all appropriate and comes across strong enough. Doesn't need to have too much contrast. I'm happy with this. A little bit of just, you know, regular fold lines around the back, and he also has a bit of the strap for the eye patch. They don't print all the way around these heads generally, so you know, you get the little bit of gap on the side, which is a little bit awkward, but it doesn't bug me that much. I think that this figure overall is done pretty well, and it looks like who it's supposed to look like. And there's a little bit of silver if you look at this from the right angle. Let me see if I can get that to reflect. There we go. Now you can see it for the buttons and the buckle. This is Mysterio. Actually, no, my bad. Not that Mysterio. This is Marvel Mysterio, and MCU version at that. That helmet piece is really cool looking. It's very globe shaped. You know, it doesn't come across very oblong. I think they really took a sphere shape with it. And what's going on with that, why it looks weird, it's actually distorting light that goes through it. And in fact, this fits over a regular minifig head, and beneath there is just a silver head. That's it, just a silver head. So they didn't put his face in, and they didn't put any printing inside of this helmet piece, which is basically just a fishbowl that fits with an anti-stud connection inside, and it does have a mini peg hole on the top. Possibly you can find some way to connect things to that. Overall, pretty good looking figure. I like the gold. I like the design. I like this figure. I did not expect to like this figure, especially with no face whatsoever, but I'm okay with it. I like what they've done here. You know, this is supposed to be, with the helmet on, it's supposed to obscure his face. So it's appropriate, and those power blast pieces work well. They are good for play, and I think good for display. This is the newer style of cape. I guess it's been around long enough that maybe I should stop calling it newer style. Second generation, I guess, style of cape. It's soft, and it's nice. It's flexible, and it's flowy. But you do want to be careful not to push the inside head, the silver piece, on too hard, or the outer piece on too hard. Otherwise, it'll all get scrunched up around the neck, and it won't look quite so good. Print on the back of the torso is also good. Got more of that metallic printing as well. So yeah, we're about 3 for 3 now, I'd say, on the figures. And just like that, I jinxed it. This is Happy Hogan, and it looks nothing like the actor playing Happy Hogan. To me, I mean, the torso is fine. That's a good print. He comes with another shooter there. A very realistic shooter. Not a gun, though. The hairpiece, I think, is fine. But the face, nah. It totally misses the mark. This just looks like a generic agent, or maybe even like Agent Coulson. I can see an Agent Coulson in that face. I think that would work. Maybe the hair is a little bit too strong in the darkness. Just a little bit of black around the back there. That's probably a better face for him, but again, I think it's a better face for Agent Coulson. I guess you could pretend it's Happy Hogan if you want, maybe from the comics. The jet is actually pretty cool. It's very white, and thus it may come across as a bit bland, but if you can get past that color, or if you can actually see that as being, or lack of color, as being an interesting thing, something different, setting it apart from really colorful superhero stuff in general, then, you might be able to appreciate the shape. If you can't appreciate the shape, maybe you can appreciate the build or the play value of it, both of which are pretty decent. When I first saw pictures of this, my main impression was that it appeared they had made a good use of space with this. It's not too big, but it's not too small. I think in universe this is supposed to be like a private jet, something the size of a Learjet, classic Learjet, although Learjet makes a number of different sizes, but you get the general idea. Not a big old liner or anything, but I think for that size, it feels right in Lego scale. And the most important thing is that it actually will carry figures with a plural S at the end of it. So this canopy here is printed, no stickers. So it's printed all the way across. It's actually, you can see that it is a trans black or trans brown, technically, piece. The quality of the print here is actually pretty good. The lines are nice and straight and, well defined. The parts where you're supposed to see through are nice and crisp around the edges, and the white itself is very bright. It's actually whiter than Lego pieces. Lego pieces that are supposed to be white are actually cream colored, and you can really see that difference here. This is more of a proper white. But all of this opens up. Look at this. Not just the front, but it goes back a ways, and then the cockpit there will seat 2 people fairly comfortably. Don't worry about stuff back here just yet. But that cockpit also has, that's a big old thing, has some stickers up there, and I like those stickers. I like the detail that they provide, giving you a little bit of console and also some touch screen buttons to hit on the sides. They've got clips in there to hold on to your shooters, not guns, but shooters. And then looks like there's a little bit of lab sort of thing going on here, and Spider-Man's just taking a nap back there. So this is a cargo drop section, and it actually goes back there a little bit farther than Spider-Man's legs, and that's one of the action features of this. It's really the primary action feature of the whole thing. You push down on this. I'm glad they didn't make it like bright red or something, but it's still pretty obvious. I think you can make it a little bit shorter with minimal modification, but you push on that and it just opens the drop bay door, the cargo bay door on the bottom, and out somebody falls, and see, you can connect him with a web so he can do his thing, swing along, or you can put other cargo in there alternately. Now this also has a second cargo compartment back here, so almost all of the space of this entire plane is usable. It's not that tall, it's not that wide or anything, but it has way more usable space than a lot of Lego planes that have been even larger than this, or aircraft in general. That's a pretty good space there. You could put somebody in there. You could probably put a couple of figures in there if you just lean them back. And right now it has these so-called energy bombs in here. We'll see if these have any relevance to the actual movie. But at the very least, you can pop these out and drop them. Now, there's no drop bay here, and there's no direct connection from this storage area to the drop compartment. However, what you can do is manually, huge figure you, can reload these up here. I'll just close that door, put that in there, and drop those instead with this button. Now, I've already got Spider-Man hanging here. You probably don't want to do this. You probably don't want to be dropping bombs on him. I think that actually hit him. So, if the timing is wrong, you're going to hit him. You're going to blow up Spider-Man. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be a team-killing griefer or troll, unless you do want to be. I mean, it's just a toy. I guess you can. Okay, go ahead. Be a team-killing griefer and troll. Have Spider-Man hanging down, then just drop bombs on top of him. I also like these details on the sides, these movable things. I'm assuming that those are supposed to be thrusters, but maybe they're actually supposed to represent defense cannons around the sides, but you can mostly turn that up and down. You can go forward and back a little bit, but they kind of seem like short takeoff thrusters to me. And you also have the not spring loaded, but just stud shooters, just a couple of those. And I guess the last thing that you can mess around with is the angle of these two stabilizers. You can bring them all the way down flat if you want. Maybe consider that a stealth configuration. I don't know. Bring them in like that if you want, but yeah, that's about it for the jet. And then finally, for the drone attack, here are the drones. And these look cool. I don't know what they're going to look like in the movie, but they look like drones to me, like attack drones that seem appropriate for a superhero universe, semi-realistic, near future kind of thing. They've got the suggestions of realistic weapons on the front, and then they've got the ones that will actually fire. And this is really convenient. I like the inclusion of the stud shooters here because they're just right there, right where your fingers would naturally be to swoosh this around. So you can really come in and attack with this. Of course, it's only 2 shots per. They do give you some spare studs, but it takes a second to reload those. But I think this design is good. I'm glad they included a couple of them too. So it's not just one of these. I'm assuming there will be a whole swarm that will attack, because that's kind of a major thing to think about in futuristic warfare. Swarming drones, kind of a cool thing to think of. Scary maybe. So I'm assuming there will be lots of them, but they included 2. I think that's fine. Here are the rest of the pieces from the set. So these colored studs on the left are intentionally included as extras for your stud shooters. And then all this stuff over here just represents the spares. So these are the spares, the true extras included. All in all, I think this is a pretty successful set. The things that bug me about it are slight and few. This area right here around the nose just has some awkward transitions that are a little bit rough, but it doesn't bug me to the point where I look at it and I say, no, I can't have that. That's just wrong. If it was a little bit more off, then it could definitely fall into that territory. Also, using stickers for the windows on the side is less than ideal. I mean, they might not have a better solution. Of course, there are Technic bricks with pinholes. They could have been used there, but I don't quite know what those would have looked like. They may have looked too much like holes in the fuselage. So I'm okay with this. Windows wouldn't have done that much anyway. But the use of space inside and the ability to use all of the space inside, I think is very good. And the figures are pretty cool as well. When it comes to value, 500 pieces, but some of them are relatively large. I could easily see this selling for or being retailed or suggested at $60 US. I think if the interior wasn't as usable, then I would want to pull that down a little bit, just looking at the overall size of the thing. But since that space is usable, yeah, I'll give them 60 for a suggested retail price. They're actually asking 70 for it. That's kind of rough. Relative to some other $70 sets that they've done of aircraft, spacecraft, I see it, but I still don't like it. I still wish that it was less, 50 would have been great, that 10-cent price part ratio, but that would have been completely unreasonable. I do think that 70 is a little bit high, at least for a change. The price, the euro price, at least the base euro price for Germany, is not as inflated relative to the US as it usually is, and the UK price is not as inflated as it usually is, but neither is particularly good when you actually do the currency conversion. So value definitely could have been better with this one, but the set itself is good, and if you can find this at a discount, get it at a discount, then if you like the look of it, then I think you're going to actually enjoy the set. Now, it is a little bit dirty, I have to say. I just have to point this out. To me, it's a little bit dirty that they show the canopy here with a better color match to the white of the bricks than is actually the case in real life. And it's a noticeable difference. That's just a little bit dirty. I think that they are going a little bit too far. They do that from time to time. They go a little bit too far in cleaning things up, making things look a little bit better than they really are. Sometimes they go way too far. This is just a little bit too far. I wish, and I would ask if they were listening, that they stop doing that and just show us what we're actually going to get. It's kind of important. You can even see that it looks like they're using clear clear piece here, and then probably just artificially tinted the windows in as needed. But anyway, good set overall regardless, and just needs to come down in price a little bit. But that's it for my thoughts on this one. If you want to see the build, I've got two options for you. I have the speed build with some musical accompaniment, and then I also have the pure build that you can check out. I'll link to both of those at the end of this video. Here, the pure build is real time, not sped up at all, and has no music, just the sound of me clicking the bricks together. Talk to you again soon.